Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here, welcome to the channel and welcome to the educational series. In this educational series update, I'm going to be teaching you how to track corporate insiders. I'll be teaching you how to see when they are buying and selling their stocks and securities in the markets, and we'll show you over on this chart how to keep track of all of these and what happens when corporate insiders sell or buy the markets. This is a great leading indicator to help supercharge your returns in the SP 500. These guys are beautiful at timing the tops and bottoms in the market, so this is definitely something you want to keep up your sleeve when understanding the ebbs and flows in the market. So let's dive right into this. First of all, why would you want to track corporate insiders, and what are corporate insiders? Well, it says what corporate insiders are here. These are officers, directors, or owners of a company that hold 10% or more of the company's stocks or securities. Insiders, also known as corporate insiders, these are people who have insider information into the markets, and because they've got extra information than us, they are legally required to disclose when they are buying their stocks and securities. This is why we have this chart here on the insider transaction ratio. Now, why do these people have more information than us, and subsequently why are they so good at timing the tops and the bottoms in the market so well? Well, it's for this very simple reason, and I'll use an example. Let's say, for example, you are an officer at Apple. You hold more than 10% of the company's securities or stocks, and let's say, for example, the S&P 500 is about to have a earnings season where companies that are trading on the stock market have to report their earnings. Now, let's say coming into earnings season, everyone is buying Apple stock. Everyone's expecting Apple to have a very bullish earnings season, and if Apple have a bullish earnings season, then a lot of people are going to make a lot of money. Now, let's say you're a director at Apple, or an officer, or an owner, and you have more than 10% of the company's stocks or securities. You're going to have a fairly good insight to how your earnings season is going to be coming, because you're inside that company. You may have precursor information on how the sales of the company have been that the rest of the markets don't have. So let's say, for example, coming into earnings season for Apple, the markets are expecting Apple to have a bullish earnings season, and subsequently they start buying up Apple stock. The price of Apple stock starts surging through the roof, and you may be, like I said, a director, an officer, or an owner who holds a lot of that company's securities or stock. You might actually have insider information that Apple is not going to have a bullish earnings season. You may be looking at Apple sales before they are reported on the S&P 500, and you may be saying, hey, the markets are pushing up the price of Apple stock expecting we're going to have a bullish earnings season, but we actually have really bad sales this month. We've had really bad sales for the past few months. It's going to come in very negative, and subsequently you're witnessing your stock rally to the upside, but you expect that the stock might go to the downside after you have that poor earnings season. Well, as you hold more than 10% of the company's securities or stock, you may sell off a lot of your stocks into the open market. You may sell some of your securities, and with that, this is where these insider transactions have to be reported. So like we said, let's say one of these sales on this chart is Apple selling their stocks before the earnings season, expecting a crash will soon happen. This is why they beautifully time the tops and the bottoms in the market. So when we have this insider transaction ratio over here, you can see this median line, this black line in the middle. When we're trading round about here, when we're trading within this gray box in the middle, it kind of means not really too much is happening. They're not really buying too much. They're not really selling too much, but you can see as we start to drop to the downside, it becomes bullish for the markets. As we pump to the upside on the insider transaction ratio, it's a sign that they're selling their stocks and securities. Now, there's no hard and fast rule to exactly what level you want to keep your eyes on for this indicator to flash. I personally just like to eyeball it and say, hey, this is a massive spike to the upside. This is a massive spike to the upside, and this is a massive spike to the upside. So with this, what I'll do is when we have these massive spikes up in the insider transaction ratio, I'll load up a clean chart on the S&P 500, and I'll overlay these data points on the S&P 500. You can mark them with whatever color you want. I'm going to be showing you the buys and sells, so I'll be marking it with red and green. This chart only goes back 1 year, so this only shows you the insider transaction ratio year to date. So I recommend you load up a chart as soon as possible and start displaying these data points for yourself. You can see I've got data points from back in April of 2022 which are no longer on this chart. So like I said, load up a chart for this on the S&P 500. Make sure you keep it clean. Make sure you've got a spare S&P 500 chart that you can use this on, and keep track of these data points. As you can see, I've got these 4 red vertical lines marking the major sales when the insider transaction ratio spikes. And you can see over here, like I said, there's no hard or fast rule on exactly what level this has to come down to for you to associate this with a data point, but I can see there was a spike to the downside here in early May. We've marked this over here. You can see there was a spike to the downside in early July. As you can see, I've marked this over here, and you can see there was a major spike to the downside in late October, around about mid-November. Coming into February over here, this wasn't, a major drop to the downside. Like I said, I like to look at these points which really start to come to the downside. And you can also say, hey, this one coming in late March was also pretty bearish, so you can mark this one as well. When we look at these data points, you can see the SP 500 insiders sold their stocks and securities in the open market over here. We had a massive crash. They bought them back here, we rallied. They bought again down here, we rallied. They sold here at the local top, we broke to the downside. They bought here, we broke to the upside, continued to rally, back tested, pushed up higher. They sold the exact top over here. You can see these two data points, this sell and this sell, they beautifully timed the market right here. We broke down, they bought back their stocks and securities, we broke back up, and it looks like we're double topping on the S&P 500 right now. They've quite recently just sold and we're breaking down. So, do bear in mind, this is a educational series update, which obviously I want to keep on my channel for the rest of time. If you are watching this in a year's time, 2 years time, do bear in mind the insider transaction ratio will not be showing you the same chart. And also do bear in mind, I'm just showing you at this very moment in time how this is working on a clean chart. So if you're watching this in 1 year's time, you'll want to load up the insider transaction ratio for yourself. You'll want to identify the peaks, which are bearish, and you'll want to identify the troughs, which are bullish in the insider transaction ratio. And you'll want to load this on your own chart and just take a look through the market. See how it reacts on your own chart. At least as of the time of recording this video, insiders tend to beautifully time the tops and the bottoms in the markets, for the very reason that I said at the start of the video. If you're a corporate insider, you have insider information into how your own company is going to be reporting. It doesn't necessarily have to be around earnings season. You may have insider information in that company on why your stock may rally or break to the downside. It may be before earnings season. You may see the markets either pumping to the upside or dumping to the downside, and you know that your earnings report is going to change the way that the market moves. We don't know the exact reason for each buy and sale. These are corporate insiders after all. We can't call them up or text them and ask the very reason that they're selling, but what we can do is we can track their exact transactions, because by law, a insider, an officer, director, or owner are legally required to disclose their purchases and sales in the market. I recommend to have a spare S&P 500 chart on your trading view just so you can track the insider buy and sells. Like I said, remember this only tracks year to date, so after a while you will notice the old data points disappear and you won't be able to get these back. I will leave a link down below on isabellanet.com where you can actually track the insider transaction ratio for yourself. So make sure to head down to the description, load up this chart, make sure to get a fresh trading view chart and just see how the insiders navigate the market. Like I said, they tend to time the tops and bottoms almost perfectly, so this can definitely help you trading yourself. So for today, my friends, that's all I've got. If you did enjoy this video, let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. Share the videos with your friends. Also, if you did enjoy this content, bear in mind this is simply one educational episode out of an entire educational series which will have 35 videos in it. So if you do want to learn more about the markets, if you're new and want to understand the cryptocurrency markets, the stock market, if you want to understand what the definition of securities are, how to use lots of different indicators on TradingView, how to compare charts, overlay charts, everything from the basics to more complex topics like Fibonacci's, Elliott wave theory, CME gaps, all of that good stuff, volume profiles, the yield curve. I provide all of this for free on my educational series. So like I said, for today, that's all I've got. Make sure to leave a like and comment if you did enjoy the video. If you want to further support the channel, feel free to click the join button and become a member today. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out. Peace.